Welcome into Seeing Scarlet. We have another great interview for y'all today. Again, really fitting for the time of the year. We have the World Cup going on, and we're going to jump into that here in just a minute. But before we do, it's kind of we took a little bit of a break back in the middle of summer, Shelby, and we're back until we take another break. And what helps y'all and what helps us, make sure that y'all subscribe. It's free to do. Just click on that button. Like, even I was a little scared to hit that subscribe button, but it's free. So why not do it? Yeah, thank you. That's my sales pitch. I'm really good at it. But we are so stoked to have one of the, I say this, I think, every time I talk to y'all, but one of the greats of Texas Tech soccer, and I say that in terms of records, I say that in terms of the commitment. We have Madison White here, goalkeeper from Texas Tech. She's been here since 2019. She's gone through a lot, both in terms of playing and also with just the world, and Texas Tech has just been home to her. And so, Madison White, we are so excited to have you on board. Welcome to Seeing Scarlet.
Thank you. So happy to be here, guys.
We're happy to have you. And for everybody listening, another helpful piece of subscribing is we did a rundown with all of the Texas Tech goalkeepers that have been really the stars of the program in terms of goalkeeping. And just to give y'all a little bit of an update, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, Maddie, buckle up. I'm about to brag about you for a little bit. Sometimes this makes people say,
back.
"Oh, I hate this," but it needs to be said. So I can't move forward until we talk about this real quick. So for those who don't know, Madison White, she has been named the All Big 12 second team. She has played in every second of every match that they had last season. She recorded a season high of 7 saves against Washington and Texas, the University of Texas. Y'all, she's led the, I know, good job, Shelby. She's led the Big 12 with shutouts with 9. I mean, the list goes on. She was the only Big 12 keeper to shut out nationally ranked TCU, a huge competitor in the Big 12. And again, I could keep talking forever, back-to-back weeks of Defender of the Week and things like that. So Madison, you're really great at soccer. We we can see so much of what you've accomplished with Texas Tech. So enough of me talking about you. What can you share with us about you? And it could be soccer related, it could be personal related, it could be a combination. What do you want the world to know about Madison White?
I don't even know how to answer that question, honestly.
She's like, I'm done. Actually, none.
Well, you just covered all of it, so
I have nothing
It's
left.
so broad. I was like, I don't even know where to start.
We always just like to let you, as the athlete, say, this is me.
Yeah.
You can talk about you as a soccer player. You can talk about you as a person, whatever you want to, because we spend time talking about you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But you are you, and you can tell the people the best. This is what I like to do. This is who I am as a player.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like people, especially people that know me, especially my close friends, say how direct I am too, especially when I play too. People are like,
That's
"Oh,
good.
I can tell you didn't like that. You don't want me to do that. You want me to do this instead." So I think
Correct yourself.
people do, especially
now.
with my age, they're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
very direct person, very just
Good.
so unbelievably competitive. I cannot lose.
Yeah.
And if I lose, then there's a
tracks.
problem. Whether it's my
Yes.
fault, someone else's fault, there's a problem. I just can't lose, which I think being a college athlete, you kind of have to be like that. If you lose and you're okay with it, then
Yes.
probably shouldn't be, So
You probably
that's
didn't
just-
get there, so.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's just my personality. Very I have to win. I have to be the best. I cannot handle it if I'm not the best. If I'm not the best right now, then in 2 years I'm going to be, because I just can't stop. I have to be the best. So I think that's just something about
That's
my
good.
personality that relates to soccer too, which I think is why I can do what I do, is because I have to.
Yeah.
There's something in me that I can't not win. I just have
Yeah.
to. So
That makes a lot of sense. Is that
yeah.
did you realize that at a very young age? I don't know if you
Yeah.
have siblings, or were you just always beating up on the kids on the block, or your fellow siblings? You're like, I just want to beat you at whatever we're doing. I don't care.
So yeah, I think from a very young age, I knew I was competitive. I always played with the boys and I always beat them. I was like, sorry, I'm a girl and I'm still
That's
going to win.
Obviously. Yeah, we didn't.
And
We knew
but
that.
I feel like I didn't until sooner on it, later on in life, that I was like, oh, I actually need to be the best. Like it wasn't just like, oh, like haha, I want to win. It's like, no, I have to be the best player. Like I have to,
Yeah.
like I just have to. But like even my brother and I when we were younger, like everything was a competition. Who's getting to the car
Gosh.
first? Who's getting the front seat? Like
Yep.
like stuff that doesn't even matter. Like he and I
Oh,
would just compete over,
I
and
think,
then it'd cause
yeah.
a fight because we
Relatable.
were like, I have to win,
Yes.
Yes.
and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
There's no point.
The brother dynamic is, you know, you say maybe it's not a big deal. It is life
Oh,
or
it is.
death if you're going to be in that
It
front
is.
seat.
I can speak.
Exactly.
I think I could still find tally marks from a kid like tracking that stuff with my brother. So I get it. I think
Especially
it's
because he was older too. I was like,
Oh,
uh-uh,
no,
Mm-mm.
I don't care what hell.
gotta be dominant.
Yep.
And you probably ended up playing whatever sports it was with not just your brother, but
Yep.
his friends. So you're just
Right.
playing against all the
Always.
guys. So
The whole neighborhood crowd was all boys, and then there was
Yeah.
me.
And then
And I would always hold my own. I'd be like,
Oh, I love that.
Love it.
Yes.
not this child. Mm-mm.
Yes. So you grew up in Texas,
Mhm.
Maddie, and when did soccer start for you? So like we're talking about like hanging out with your brother
Mhm.
and stuff like that, but when did soccer start becoming your priority?
Uh-huh. So I literally have played every sport in the book except for volleyball. It's the only one, but everything else I played since I was
Fair.
little.
Okay.
And anything my brother did, his name's Harrison, anything my brother did, I had to do.
Dude,
So
yeah.
my parents put him in soccer. I'm like, I got to do that too. Baseball, softball, I have to do that too. Basketball, yep. So I literally
And one.
did, lacrosse, every sport possible.
you're out there playing
And-
flag football as a kid.
I don't know. I think I probably did. There's no way
I say
sat
that
and
because
watched.
I got dragged into flag football as a kid because of my brother for the same thing. So
I was
it
gonna say,
always
there's no
cracks
way
me
I
up.
sat and watched. If there was an option to play, I was in there.
I can't remember, but I probably won.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I like super into middle school. It was soccer and basketball and track. That's all it was. And in track, I was a high jumper. So that's all it was those three sports. And so then I got to high school and I couldn't play basketball and soccer. So I just did soccer and I did track. But I didn't do track freshman year. I did it my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And so soccer was it. And then I started to do track sophomore year again, started doing high jump again and again. And then I finally was like, you know what? I was like, track and soccer are different seasons. So I was like, I want to do both of these things. So when I came to tech and on my visit, I was like, I'm also do track. And they're like, yeah, you can do both here. So I originally committed to do track and soccer.
What?
And so I was like,
News
yeah.
bomb.
I was like, all right, Tom, our coach, Tom Stone
Yeah.
was like, yeah, like you can talk to Wes. And so like Wes had come to my visit at the SVC and was like, yeah, like what's your, like, I saw your height, like whatever, like, he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, like we'll take you, like, come on. Which soccer was obviously the main sport, but they were like,
Sure.
if you want to come out and do it, come ahead.
Yeah,
So I was
well-
like, all right, cool.
Wow.
I feel like our track program does that with a lot of sports. They have so many athletes that are like, yeah, when your
Agreed.
season's
Unreal.
over, come over, which is wild to think about because it's one of the most dominant track programs on the men and women's side in the country.
Agreed.
And maybe that's why they're like, hey, we'll take anybody. Y'all are athletes.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Exactly. And they weren't, and that's the thing is that my sport was soccer. So it's not like track was losing anything. They're like, hey, another free person.
Yeah.
Because they're not
gonna
giving me anything. They're just like,
they're gonna pay
"Fine."
for her.
Exactly. No, I'm gonna pay for her and she'll come out and do it. But I
Wow.
remember Tom was like, this was like my freshman year after season ended. He goes, yeah, you're more than welcome to keep doing that, but if you're not placing, you're not going. I was like, okay,
Okay.
that's fair.
Honestly.
He's like, you're not gonna go spend all that time not playing soccer, doing track, and not get the team points. I'm like,
Fair.
you know what? That's fair. Fair.
Good point, Tom.
But I didn't end up doing
Hearing
it.
you talk about
Yeah.
it, though, you probably would have done the same thing. You would have
Yeah.
Oh,
ended
yeah.
up like
If I
obsessing
wasn't
over
the best
it.
in a couple years, I would have been up there just because
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it. I had to be up there.
Just give me-
But
was it going to
I
be
ended-
high jump? Just
Yeah, it was gonna be high jump. hmm
All right. Wow.
So
Did not
what a
know
cool,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Cool
what a
story.
cool dynamic. So it sounds like you were, kind of bouncing around with the idea of different sports. But even before all of that, like what drew you to Texas Tech? And like I said earlier, like you've been at Tech since the start of your collegiate career. But what was the first experience like with Texas Tech, and what brought you to Lubbock?
hmm I think also when you're in high school and you're getting recruited, you're going to a bunch of different schools. And it's like I had gone to different schools and I'm like, yeah, I like it. It's cool. Program's cool. People are nice.
Yeah.
And then I came to Tech and I was just like, why is everyone so nice? I was like, I just feel way more homey here. Like I came on my, I had
Can't
gone
be
to like a
wrong.
little ID camp in summer and I
Okay,
was
cool.
like, I like this. And so I went on a visit to another school That was up on the East Coast. And as I'm on my official visit, I get a text and call from Tom. He's like, "We need you back in Lubbock," because I guess he found out I was on a visit somewhere. And so I was like,
He's like,
"Oh
no.
no, they're
Oh,
fighting
no.
over me."
This is great.
And so
Oh,
I'm like,
bummer.
okay. So I go on that visit. I'm like, all right, like that's cool, like fun. And so I get back to tech and I'm like, yeah, no, it's
Okay.
tech. Like
Cool.
it's like even the facilities and I'm like just the people and it's like especially as a freshman like in high school coaches want to be nice to you. Like they're trying to recruit you. And it's like once you get
Mhm.
here sometimes like people can be like, "Well, they're not as nice as they were." But I'm like, I've ever since I've been here, they always care. It doesn't
Cool.
matter who you are, they care. Whether you're playing 90 minutes or you're playing 0 minutes, traveling, not traveling, like they just care. They care
Mm.
about like us as people and like how we're doing and our well-being, which is like something that I think that you could tell is because other
Mhm.
schools recruited you, but it wasn't like I could tell that you not only want me as a soccer player, but you care about me as a person.
Mhm.
So that's why I think too. And like, especially Lubbock itself, everyone in Lubbock is so nice.
I know.
Always.
They really are.
Like,
It truly
like
is.
I can like leave my phone at a restaurant and like never, no one's ever gonna take it.
Right.
Ever.
They're not even
Like, and
going to
people
look
are
at
just,
it.
no,
Yeah.
they're not even gonna look at it. Be like, oh, someone
They'd
lost
look.
their phone.
Yeah.
They'd like open your purse and see like $1,000 in
Yeah.
there and just look for your ID so they could
Yeah,
take it
literally.
to your
Look
house.
for
They
my
wouldn't even call the police. They
address.
just deliver it to your home.
Exactly. They
Themselves
don't,
with, like,
they go and
with
deliver
a
it. It's like,
pie
hey, you
as
left
well.
this. Exactly. So I'm like, and like I hadn't experienced that anywhere I went. And growing up in Dallas, not the same. Like people are nice, but it's not. It's like not a
Yeah.
home like small town feeling. But
Yeah.
that's what I don't know. I just love Lubbock. I love the people,
Yeah.
and not only that, like the facilities are ridiculous.
They are
Nowhere
nice.
I've
Just
went,
getting
and
better.
yeah, and even like being in college and traveling to other places, nothing compares. Like no one has
Right.
anything that we do, which is
Dang.
insane.
Yeah.
Like
It,
like
it's kind of
everyone
like, oh,
shares like
good, but
facilities and
yeah.
everything. Yeah. Like we share a
Mhm.
weight room, but it's
Yeah.
massive. So it's like, all
Yeah.
right, but like no one has their own field, their own indoor, the facilities we have at Walker, like no one has that. So it's just I think all
Wow.
that together was like, I'm sold. Like
Yeah.
and I could just
Yeah.
tell that they valued me as a person too, which is what I really liked. Because I was like, I could thrive here. And they
Yeah.
believe in me. So
What a concept, right?
And-
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Which
thrive
you
here,
don't have
yeah.
that everywhere at all.
I know. That's good to
Yeah,
know.
everyone we talk to says the same thing about all these different
Mhm.
sports, and it makes me, as a fan, feel so good
Mhm.
about the state of our university across all the sports because they're all like, "Yeah, our coaches are just good people." I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
"What a concept!" Because that's
Yeah.
like you said, that doesn't happen everywhere. Speaking from
And
experience,
yeah, and I
so
feel like I could come
love
on
it.
here and say that and be like, no, like our coaches are great people. But if you've had, for example, like Kylie on and she is
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's okay. Like I can tell you for a fact, I know she didn't say that just because I know her and I know our coaching staff and stuff like and people here. It's just like it's awesome. Everyone here, most people that come here just love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sometimes, Lubbock is a tough place to live. We
Mhm.
know, we've heard it.
Mhm.
But yeah, the people.
Speaking to who?
Yeah,
What are
I
you
know,
talking
I know. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, like the people in the community of Lubbock, I think is so
Mhm.
important, and I'm really happy to hear like that's your experience too, especially
Mhm.
being not from Lubbock. So
Mhm.
yeah, okay, cool. So you get to Texas Tech. Again, another really great story, y'all, because your first year, like the first second that you stepped on a field to play, Madison, can you walk us through what happened? Because reading it on
gosh.
paper, I'm
Vibing,
already
just
sweating.
vibing on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I'm already sweating, but I would love to hear, like, I would love people to hear it from you. Of
Mhm.
set the scene, let us into what
Take us
happened.
back.
Yeah, take us back
Mhm.
to 2019. What was life like, particularly when we were playing against South Florida? Just to,
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I knew
Okay.
you knew, but you.
I'm on it.
Yep.
I'm on it. So when I was a freshman, I like for the first like couple games, like they were like, I think we beat like San Diego State like 6-0, 6-1 or something. And so
Casual.
everyone on the team played, and I didn't because I was a goalkeeper. And so like by the second or third game, Tom is like, "Hey, like we want to redshirt you." And so I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay, I'm a freshman. I don't know what that means." I'm like, "Okay, like walk me through what this means. I just got here." And so
I want a
he's like,
black shirt
"Okay."
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's like,
well.
essentially, you're just not going to play this year, but you're not going to lose your eligibility.
Mhm.
And when I was here, the keeper that was in front of me, I wasn't going to play. So unless something drastic happened, I wasn't going to play, which I was made aware of. And so after like the second or third game, I was just redshirting. So I would just travel and just be on the bench and just have a great time because I'm like, I just get to live the dream. But
College athlete, preparing
exactly,
for
I'm a
track
college
in the
athlete, but
spring.
I'm not
I'm going to be a
playing,
high
but-
jumper.
Exactly. I'm like,
I
okay.
love this for you, Madison. I love
So I'm
this.
fair. Like, I'm like, this is cool. I'm fair. This is great.
Eating snacks.
And so the last non-conference game is versus South Florida, who is ranked 17th in the nation,
22nd.
something 22nd, top 25.
Probably felt
which,
like 17. Yes. top
Oh, it
25.
felt like about one.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I'm like, just another day. It's great. I'm on the sideline, and I also, so I was on the sideline, I guess, for 8 or 9 games, and so that whole time we have a snack box. I'd have a snack in my hand the whole time. That's just how it was. And so I'm sitting over there with the snack in my hand, watching the game.
Eat my
And-
Twizzlers.
Yeah, literally. I think it was an Uncrustable or something stupid. And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game and I'm like, oh no, like a 1v1's happening. And so it's a 1v1 between the forward and our goalkeeper. And I'm just like, what's going on? And so the ball, something happens. I don't even see what happens. I see her get hit. I see her stay on the ground. And a lot of times I feel like in soccer, people get on the ground and they just kind of sit there for a second. And so I'm like, all right, like she's good.
Right.
She wasn't good.
Just take a
And
break.
so I'm
Not
sitting
okay.
there and I'm like looking, like, what is going on? And I just see like blood pouring. I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
No.
So yeah, she had literally got cleated in the face, like completely
Oh my
busted.
God.
Just,
Ouch.
it was dirty. It was
Yeah.
dirty, the dirtiest tackle I've ever seen.
Mm.
And so,
Let me find him.
yeah, literally. And so Gibbs Keaton, who is our goalkeeper coach at the time, it's me and another goalkeeper. There's 3 of us there total. So he goes, all right, you two start warming up. And so we're volleying the ball back and forth. And
Are
I
you,
think
are
we
you
even-
thinking like not me? Like
I have a red shirt. I was
I'm
told
gonna
I have
literally-
a red shirt.
I
I'm
think-
eating my
so-
snacks.
so the other goalkeeper, her name was Avery, and she actually was my roommate the following year. So her and I
Okay.
were friends.
cool.
And so me and Avery are sitting there volleying the ball back and forth and catching it. And I look at her in the face. I go, well, it's not me. And she goes, it's
Right.
not me. And we're arguing. And I'm like, I'm
not
literally
going
like,
in
it's
there.
not me.
I'm not going.
She's
I
like,
was
well, it's
told
not
I'm
me
not
either.
playing.
I go, no, I'm redshirting. Like, it's not me. And she goes, well, it's not me. And we are bickering about who's going in the field. And so finally comes over, and Tom comes over to the both of us, and we're both like side-eyeing each other, like, what's going on? Pick this one. And he goes, all right, Maddie, you're up. And I'm like,
dude.
and I'm not even gonna lie, Tom knows this. I was pissed at first. I was like, I don't want to lose my red shirt.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I
that's
was a
good point.
freshman, 18 years old, freshly 18, a freshman in college.
Yep.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Because I remember he told me, he's like, she's gonna be out for a while. Because I was like,
Dang,
okay,
yeah.
like if she's out for a while, like maybe I can gain a spot, whatever. But in the end of the day, I didn't have a choice.
Right.
So I have my gloves on. I'm walking on the field. Crowd
Wow.
is just like packed, and like behind the goal is like this like big grass like hill, just
Mhm.
people. And I'm like about to cry. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
no way. There's no
Yeah.
way. And so my roommate Hannah Anderson, who's the center back, she was a freshman at the time, but she had played every minute. Like since she was a freshman, she's played every minute. And so
Wow.
she had been playing, and she looks at me and she's like, hey, and that's how Hannah's personality is so optimistic. She's like, hey, you got it. You got it. You're fine. And I just look
No
at her
big
and I go, I literally look at her and I go, don't pass me the ball. I go, don't
No,
pass me the ball.
Away.
No
You
own
don't
goals
even
will be
look at-
happening today. Leave me out of this.
I go, don't pass me the ball. Mm-mm.
Leave me out.
And so, yeah, literally, I was like, there's no way this is happening. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And so my parents my parents both went to Oklahoma State. And so there was
Okay.
an Oklahoma State football game at University of Texas. And they
Okay.
had like a work event that they could go, and they were like in a suite. So they were like, this is great. Woo. And a girl that played on our team, her dad calls my mom and was like, hey, Madison's
Hey.
in the game. And she's like, no, she's not. No, she's not. Like,
I was told she's not playing.
redshirting.
I was told.
I was told she's not
She
playing
has
the
a
whole
red
year.
shirt on. Yeah.
And so she has no connection
Oh,
in the whatever the
no.
UT football stadium is. She's in there on her phone, like hyperventilating. She's like, I don't have any connection. I don't know what's going on. But so I had to play, and I was like, I just was like,
Oh.
I don't know what to do. But like 10 minutes after I went in, the girl hits a bomb from
Mm.
40 yards out, like upper 90. Like I had no shot, and I was like, because
Okay.
it's 2-0 when I went in. It's 2-1 at this point. So I'm like, okay,
Okay.
all right, okay. And so the first half is hard. Like it's not easy. Like, and so we go to halftime, and I'm like, okay, Okay, so second half comes around, and I don't think I've experienced another college game like this.
Oh,
Like
I can't
every
wait to
two
hear
seconds,
this.
shot, left and right, shot. And it was just like, I was like, I can't keep up. I don't know what to do. And I like sweating the whole time, not even because it was hot, just like anxious sweats.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
And then I remember very like specifically, they got a free kick right outside the box.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but I like literally was like, what in the world? What in the world? And this
Why is
girl
this
is like a
happening to me?
specialty free kick taker. I
Of
didn't know that at the
course.
time, obviously. Specialty, like that's her ish, that's her thing.
Yes,
And
yes.
she goes to hit it, and it's going literally like almost upper 90, and I'm like, well, I gotta go get it. Like, I'm like, I don't.
It's my job.
Off
So
I
I
go.
go and save it, and I just see our bench was like, I was like, okay. But
I
it
did
was
it.
ridiculous. It was actually like the most ridiculous game I've ever played. Like, even if
Wow.
you put me in that game as a senior, it would still be ridiculous. And I'm just
Totally.
like, I don't even
Mhm.
know how I was able to do that. Like, I
Mhm.
think I blacked out the whole game.
Yeah, you probably
But
probably did. Mhm.
per
That's
Tom,
so
he's like, she
cool.
walked on and she never looked back. And I was like,
Yeah.
fair. And so a week later, the goalkeeper that
Mhm.
got hurt, she was back, like after her a week, because she didn't have a
Nice.
concussion and she had stitches. And so they're like, yeah, like she's back. And I was like, I didn't know that my personality was like this, but they're like, she's back. And I was like, okay, bet.
Cool.
And so I just was like, all right. And
Here we
so
go.
her and I just competed and battled the whole season for the spot. And I was like, I'm not giving it up. And they just,
Dude.
yeah. So
That's, I
They
That
mean,
never
is
look
so
back.
hype. Oh
like
was
my
what
so
a
cool.
God.
what a
It was so
welcome
cool.
to like college moment. Like you're
Yeah.
like you don't think you're going in.
Mm-mm.
You're nervous.
Ever.
I'm not gonna call you scared, but you
Mm-mm.
sound like you were
Nervous.
nervous in the
Nervous.
game. First moment, put in there, rightfully so. In that, I can just imagine, like you talked about. I don't even know how to just save that, but everybody on the team knew in that moment what they
Mhm.
had. And this
Mhm.
freshman, like, wait, who?
Yeah.
Who is that? Because I know teams
Mhm.
are pretty big. Some of them are probably like, we know
Mhm.
who she is, but we don't know who she is as a player
Mhm.
yet. But that's really cool
Mhm.
that y'all all got to experience that in the moment. And then
Yeah.
to
And it
win.
was such an insane experience. It's also funny because there's I think I still follow her on Twitter. There was this little girl there, and she's like since now she still follows me on Twitter, her and her mom. Because
Yeah.
they saw me at that one game and they're from Florida and they're Tech fans and they love Tech soccer and they came to that game. And I was like, this is so cute.
adorable.
Dude.
I was like, this is so
Yeah.
freaking cute. But
That like
and
the
they still follow me.
impact.
Ever since then, I'm like exactly like the impact that
Yeah.
I had at 18 on this, I don't know how old is she, maybe 8, on this
Yeah.
8-year-old that still 4 or 5 years later, she is still following us.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy. I hope she
It's-
sees this story because I feel like that'll even make it even better. Because in her
Yeah.
mind, you're like a
A
god.
God.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this girl comes
Uh-huh.
in at 18, a freshman.
Cool.
She's like goes out there and wins this game. She's
Yeah.
untethered, and you're like, no, I was very, very nervous, and I
No,
still
like
did
I
it.
actually was so scared.
I was
Wow.
Nervous, not scared.
Yeah.
but-
nervous, not scared. Yeah, if
Mhm.
you were
I remember
scared, you
after
wouldn't
the
have
game,
made
yeah.
7 saves or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
And it was like, so sometimes in games, if it's like, okay, Maddie White had 7 saves.
Mhm.
Probably 5 of them were probably right to me, but they were on frame, so they count as a save. No,
Mhm.
every single one was like,
Diving.
choo, choo, and I'm like, can we stop? And I
Give me
remember
a
that.
break.
Yeah, the forward that took out our keeper. It was dirty. The forward that
Mm.
took out our keeper, and the one that was
I
like
bet.
shooting all these shots during me during the entire game. She got drafted the next year, and I was like, hee, like, got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like feeling like so cool that I could stop her and stuff. But
Yes.
it was hilarious.
Yeah.
That'll,
I mean, like,
that'll
to
build the
s-
confidence.
Uh-huh.
no kidding.
Exactly.
You're stopping professional player goals
Yeah,
at
and she was
eight, you know,
good.
18.
Yeah.
Like
She's good.
it's so hyped to hear your side of it because I mean like reading it, watching the game, it feels so wild to know like potentially what position you were in, but I cannot imagine you're just like warming up and you're like, I'm not going in.
Bopping around.
It's not me.
I was told
What
I'm
do you
not going
mean?
in.
No, literally, I was like, Avery, the other goalkeeper, and I are literally arguing. It's not me, it's you. No, it's not me, it's you. And the two, I'm like, well, it's one of us. It's got to be
It's
one of us. It's not me, but it's one of us.
And then a week later, you're like, well, I'm not losing my spot.
never-
so
No,
it's
literally.
fine. No.
And it
Never
was
going
that was the thing is that the next game was a Big 12 OSU and OU, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
But I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wow.
And I remember because I felt more nervous for that game because I had time to be nervous. I had a whole
right?
week to be like, I have to play this whole
That's-
entire game.
That's such a
you
good
know?
point. Yeah.
Mhm.
weren't told anything at that
No,
game.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Some
So
ways that's better.
yeah, you talked a little bit about like how your attitude maybe shifted, or you thought it was always the constant, and you even said it before, like when we were asking you, like, tell us a little bit about you. I've heard of like goalkeepers having like a specific reputation of being like loud on the field, like you need people to listen to you. You like your position is so important. Do you feel like you fit some of those characteristics of, like how do you show up on the field? Is it, we get to see this fun, like cool story and all that, but I think I'd be scared of you on the pitch. Is that accurate?
Which
What
I
is that
don't
like?
I don't want my teammates to be scared of me. Hannah and
Oh,
I
I
have
meant
such
if
an
I was playing
interesting
against
dynamic.
you.
The
Yeah,
Yeah,
opposed.
I was
Hannah and I
playing
have such an
against you.
interesting dynamic.
Cool.
But I think yes, like you can all probably already tell I'm loud. Like I have a loud voice. Like you
It's a
can probably
good
tell
trait
through the
for a
microphone that I'm kind
goalkeeper.
of screaming, which is just how I am. I'm loud.
Nice.
I'm
Voice.
a lot. Like I'm just a loud person. But it's like when I'm on the field, it's like we're gonna do the right thing, and if not, it's like it's also difficult too as a goalkeeper. You have to have that balance where it's like if I have, for example, let's use Kylie Barr here, and she gets nutmegged and it leads to a goal. Not gonna happen to Kylie, but if it does, Kylie Barr, I know that she knows she messed up. So for me to sit here and yell at her and be like, Kylie, that was terrible, it's not gonna hurt. She's like, I already know.
I get it. Yeah.
I understand. So so it's like there's a balance you have to have because people know. Hannah's the same way. Like she knows. Like when she messes up, even if it's the tiniest thing, she's like, that's on me. I know. Which is that's my personality too. When I mess up, I'm like, yeah, that was on me, guys. But you have to have that balance of when is it time for you to be like, hey, Kylie, like next one, you're fine. Or Kylie, that's not good enough, So it's hard for you to have that balance, especially with different people on your back line have such different personalities. So it's like you need to know who and when and how, like you need to do that, which is one of the most tough parts of my position, I think. It's not even the physical aspect. It's just knowing when and how to like build someone up or get onto them or, because that's the thing is your goalkeeper is the one that is holding you accountable.
Yeah.
Which we need to be held accountable too, but your goalkeeper is the one that is holding you accountable, which is your job. That's always what Blair has told me. He's like sometimes in practice something will happen. He's like, why didn't you, like that was awful. Why didn't you get onto her? And I'm like, it's like you need to know when.
Yeah.
So that's I think one of the hardest parts too. But I think I fit most of those like characteristics. Like I'm loud. I'm a lot. Like people know when I'm coming. Like I'm loud, and I don't know if I would say people on the other team are scared of me. I think like growing up in Dallas with such a big soccer community, I've played with so many different girls. I think that people definitely like in college, I've played against people I played with when I was younger. And they're like, no, I definitely don't want to play against you. But I don't think they've ever been like, I'm scared of you. Because I think my personality off the field is, I'm definitely an intimidating person, but I think it's less intimidating off the field. So I think that they know me off the field, it's different. But people that don't know me, they might be scared. I don't know.
Yeah. You don't know.
I guess we'll never know.
They respect you for sure. That's
for sure,
word.
for sure.
That makes a lot of sense. You talked about earlier the first question we asked you, and you said you're very direct. Seems like a good trait for a keeper.
Yeah.
Just thinking back to like you starting as a freshman, how long did it take you to go into that role? I'm sure it's really difficult as a freshman goalkeeper to be like, oh, I'm basically the coach of the team back here, or at least the defensive side on the field. I have to do that now. Like, how long did that take until you felt like you were that person on the...
So when I was a freshman, I might not remember right, but when I was a freshman, my two outside backs were pretty sure seniors. Like seniors are like fifth year seniors. And then Hannah, obviously, and then another one that was an older girl. And so my whole back line was super like grown and I was not. And so even Hannah compared to me as a freshman, but I remember as a freshman, I definitely was just doing my due diligence of step up, drop off, step to her, like stuff like that. But there was never like, hey, like you need to do this. Like there was never any of that. I think that I probably started to do that like, I don't even think COVID year counts, but probably like 2021, my junior year, I probably started to be like, hey, like that's not good enough. Like you need to, or like unless someone knows and like you need to get onto them, then I think that probably started like my junior year because when I was a freshman, I sure as hell was not going to do that.
Right.
I was not going to look at the fifth year senior and say that wasn't good enough. Like,
That's
come on. Because she'd look at me and say, turn around. Be quiet and turn around.
You were just eating snacks on the sideline.
But you're
Maybe I'll
Uncrustable.
Stop
I was
the,
go eat your Uncrustable. Like, shut up and go eat
do your
it. Like, you're
job and let
fine.
me do mine.
Literally. So I was like, as a freshman, I was like, good job.
No,
Great work.
everybody's doing really good.
Everyone's doing
I
really,
hope you're
really
having
good.
fun.
You're probably,
I hope everyone's having fun right now. I know I am. So
you're probably just taking like everything, even when it wasn't your fault. You're like, that's on me.
That's on me.
That's
That's
my
me.
bad.
Yep.
That's my bad.
Oh,
Y'all-
that's sorry,
you're
guys.
great.
That's on me. But
I
that's the
messed up.
thing, though, is that I made them out to be. So it was Margaret Begley, who Margaret and I are great friends. Like could be going to her wedding in this October,
Cool.
but we have like season, like still close friends. Like
Yeah.
just went to a wedding last year with her
Oh,
and her
cool.
boyfriend, and the other one's Gabby. And so I make them out to be so intimidating. But the moment that I like, for example, like say I messed up and did something, they're like, "Hey, Maddie, you're fine. Like it's okay." But like they were so
Yeah.
so helpful, especially like with freshmen too. Like I made them out to be intimidating, but intimidating to the fact that I wasn't going to be like, "Hey guys, that wasn't good enough."
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like building
They
you
had
up.
that.
Mhm.
They had that role for you. You
They
didn't
were
really
also our
have
two
to keep it up.
captains. We had
Mhm.
3 captains, they were 2 of them. So I was like, "Oh, great." So definitely not gonna stomp on any toes there.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
Smart.
I love that you've talked about this in like your position, and a lot of it sounds like developing like relationships to where you can trust each other and
Mhm.
and like you said, hold each other accountable, and knowing that like different things work with different people. Madison and I were talking about this before we hopped on the recording, but like different people's personality, and if you're gonna coach them or like be in that support network, yeah, you have to be so adaptable. So I have a new appreciation for like what you're doing back there, which leads me into kind of a funny thing that you're probably gonna hate that I bring up because it was from a long time ago, and it's similar with the snacks. But I
know
was
what you're
reading an
about.
article from you, and it was about a game. I don't know that like y'all are just running away with it, which meant that maybe Madison, you didn't have too many things to do back there,
Mm-mm.
and they asked you about it, and you said, sometimes I'm thinking about what am I gonna have for dinner. So in those times where you're like the team, we're just up 6-0, 7-0, and you got some free time back there, are you still thinking about what your next snack is gonna be, or like what
Absolutely.
is it?
Absolutely. And also, so it's funny because
I'm so
before
glad
we
you
go on
haven't changed.
trips, before we go on trips and stuff, we have to fill out a food form, which basically like I fill out like what I want, like there's like
Mhm.
choices. And so like for dinner after the game, I know what I ordered, but a lot of times I don't remember. So I'm sitting here in with my subconscious, like, did I order, what are we getting for, I'm watching the ball, talking to people,
Of
but
course.
my inner little monologue is talking to me, like, what did you order? Like, what was that? Like,
Was it a burrito or a
was it a burrito
bowl?
bowl? I'm not sure.
Shit, did I get the extra guac or did I
Yeah,
get it off?
exactly what's running through my head. People may be like, well, that's stupid. That's not focused. I'm still focused. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about it. You know?
Yeah.
You could ask any of the coaches, they'll be like, I'm not surprised. It sounds about right.
Sounds
You,
right.
you
yeah,
probably,
sounds
I mean,
right.
being a goalkeeper's got to be one of the most unique positions in sports because you have to be so off and on so quick, and it
Yes,
can change.
very
so
much.
I
Yeah.
think that from a psychology perspective, I think if it works for
Perfect.
you, keep doing it.
Mhm.
It lets
Clearly.
you stay loose. Like there's no reason to be tense the whole 90 plus minutes
Mhm.
back there.
Yeah. And I
like
think
it.
if you think about that, if you think about, oh, well, this forward's about to break loose and make a one-on-one and score on me, and then we're going to be down 1-0. One,
Ooh.
that takes the
Yep.
fun out of the game. Like, you're going to get scored on. That takes the fun out of, like, playing the game. You're
Yeah.
thinking about all the bad things that could happen, but you have 4 defenders in front of you that are going to go take care of it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's something to think about that I really want to know, but 2, it's something that I can think about that is not so serious because it's like, you need to have that. I feel like for me, especially, I need to have a balance. Like if I'm thinking about like the possible goals that are going to get scored on me this whole game, then it's going to make me nervous.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
that's just how I am. I mean, I could be
Makes
the only one
sense.
that thinks that way, which is fine. That's perfectly
It works
fine.
for you. I
It
mean,
I'm
works
like,
for
sure
me,
you're not.
so.
I'm sure you're
Yeah.
not.
I was going to say, there's definitely someone else out there that feels that way. Got to.
I love that. Like you're so true to you. I think what
Mhm.
what I've been able to see in the last like 30 minutes is it's like who you get on the field is also who you get in like real
Mhm.
life, and
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Which is how I
yeah.
pride myself. Like, you
Yeah.
know what you're getting.
Let's
And it's
go.
like, I was just talking to my roommates about it, and they were like, my other roommate is Olivia. She goes, yeah, like if you are ever upset, I know you're going to tell me. I go, yeah, Like,
So
hey, like
nice to
this made me
have.
yeah, like I don't, and I don't want people to do that. Like people
Mhm.
that are close to me, if they try and sugarcoat with me, they know it'll just piss me off. I'm like, just tell me.
Just tell me.
Now
If
I'm mad
you,
at you about this whole other
yeah,
thing.
like if
Yeah.
you're mad that I did this or said this, you need to tell
Mhm.
me. Like I
Yeah.
don't want you to beat around the bush. Just tell me. Tell me straight up. That's how I whirl.
Yeah.
That's how I work. That's how I roll. That's how I
That's
am.
just you.
It's just me.
That's
It's
just Maddie. I
just
love it. Love it. Wow. Well, I mean, yeah, and like who you are as a person, how you show up, and like you have a
hmm
resume that backs up that this works for you.
hmm
And continuing again, like we've talked about, in adding to the success of goalkeepers at Texas Tech, and
hmm
we spent some time talking about a Red Raider who has recently been in the World Cup,
hmm
Victoria Eason. So knowing like the success that y'all have had in not only just like goalkeepers, but the Texas Tech soccer program, and then being able to see Vic in the World Cup. What does that feel like for you?
hmm
Like to know that you're coming from a program that has built a World Cup player who made history for New Zealand.
hmm
Yeah, what does that feel like, and what does that say about Texas Tech in general as a
hmm
program, and maybe with the goalkeepers?
So obviously, like I missed Vic for like three or 4 years. I think she graduated
Yep.
in 15, and so I
Yep.
came here in 19. So I missed her. Didn't get to be one-on-one with her or train with
Sure.
her. But Gibbs Keaton, who was our old goalkeeper coach, he's like she's been the best I've ever coached here. It was her and Lauren Watson, and so Vic obviously
Cool.
uh he's like Vic is just so good. He's like
Mhm.
she's like you guys are very similar too, like personality wise and stuff like that. So it's just good to see that because it's like obviously I think this is her first World Cup or it's the first one she's played in, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
she was on the roster really
Yeah.
young, but didn't get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one she's played in. So I'm like, she graduated tech in 2015, let's say. And it took her 8 years to get on that. And she's on it though. She's playing. She's doing
She did
great.
it.
So
Yep.
it's like, that's good because it's like immediately, especially when you leave tech and you go pro, like you're probably most likely 99 out of 100 times, you're not going to go and start playing.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it rolls.
Yeah.
And, but it's good to see her because it's like, it took her 8 years
Mhm.
to get onto the World Cup field. Even she probably as a young kid was still on the national team, but
Mhm.
it took her that long to get on that national team, and she still did it.
She did
But
it.
It's crazy.
I love Tech too because it's like they're so supportive and so loving of everyone that's like come from here. Like everyone that's ever played here, like it feels
Mhm.
like they're still family, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like they're
Yeah.
just so supportive. And that's what I love. But even like Blair too, Blair has coached so many like Jane Campbell, like all these like pro goalkeepers, like and he had a stint at the Dash for
Mhm.
2 or 3 years. And so he's trained and worked with all these pro goalkeepers. So I'm like, with him, there's nowhere to go but up. Like
Yep.
he is just so good at his job and he played pro, so he knows.
Mhm.
So it's like, especially with him and having Gibbs for 4 years, like the amount that I have like learned and been able to learn it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I fully believe like he and Gibbs were like two of the best goalkeeper coaches I've had, like or even in the nation. That's what I think.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I pride them too. Like a lot of the things I've achieved, more so Gibbs just because I was with him for longer, but Blair too, more so everything I've achieved and been able to do is because of those two. Especially Gibbs because I was with him for 4 years. Like he pushed me like mentally, especially like he was very like, hey, like come on. Like if I wasn't doing well, like get over it, you know?
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
I love seeing that because it opens so many doors for especially like me, but like people like that are younger than me, like maybe like Kylie, Macy Blackburn that want to go play pro. Like you
Yeah.
can. And it's
Yeah.
like in the past few years, like maybe tech soccer has not been top 25, has maybe struggled a little bit. Okay, that's fine. But
Right.
any
Get back
year
there.
can be your year. Doesn't matter.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
love about it. It's just like it's not necessarily unpredictable, but any year, any team can be it. Like be the it
True.
team. Like
So true.
it's just how it is.
True.
Alabama was it last year.
That's
Came
right.
out they came out of nowhere and made the final four. So
I know.
Why not us? Why
Why
not
not
us?
us?
yeah,
Let's
why not
go.
us?
One
Exactly.
one
Why not
thing
us?
one thing about I don't know that you got to watch the game because I'll be honest, I didn't. It was at like 3 a.m. the other night, but I watched the highlights, and she had it at the end of the game at 0-0. They knew at that point they had to win. So she's coming up like on every set piece, and she almost got one. She got a header off that just went
really?
wide. Yeah, she would have won the game as the
That would have been
keeper with a header
ridiculous.
in the World Cup.
Ridiculous.
They brought her up and they ran the set piece for her, kicked it right at her, and she headed it solid. But it was just off.
Oh,
To the right. Have you ever had that opportunity? Do you want that opportunity, or like leave me out of it? Y'all do your
I
thing.
think it's happened. Well, I've had to go up. I remember it's happened like probably 3 or 4 games at Tech that they've been like,
We gotta
we're
go.
down, and they look at me and they go,
Get your
Go.
butt up there.
get up there.
Sprint.
Get
But
on, go on.
It's also hard because one, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm
I'm
just
supposed to stop
Get
them,
up
not
there.
put them in
Like,
there. Like,
and
Get
that's
up.
the thing too is I'm like, I don't want to see the ball and then run after it and try and head it and get in
Yeah.
Hannah's way when she's trying to head it. So I'm like, I don't know what to do here, guys.
Yeah. No kidding.
But I'll go up and I'll stand there. I'm like, if it comes to my foot, I'm shooting it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
oh, you
That's-
could tell she wanted to. She was like,
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was supposed to go to her, but went right at her, and she solidly hit her.
Oh,
I
really?
saw the highlight at the end because she had 3 or 4 chances. I was like, oh dang, okay,
Oh.
that would have been wild if I had
wild.
woken up to Vic scoring the
Scoring a
only
goal.
goal to get them to the next round. People
Ridiculous.
would have hated me on
Ridiculous.
Twitter. I would not have
Yeah.
shut up about it for weeks.
Truly. Wow, that's awesome. We just got to see the schedule for this upcoming
Mhm.
season. So thinking about this being your last year in collegiate soccer, collegiate, mind you.
Mind you.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to for yourself? And you know, we have a new coach with Blair Quinn and another layer of education for you. Is there something that you're really looking forward to working on or improving this last year that you're with Texas Tech?
I'm excited. New conference, new people to play.
Who dis?
So
Some good ones,
that's
too.
exciting. Get to go to Utah and get to go to Florida. So I was like, that's
Gorgeous.
fun. Last time
Yeah.
I was in Florida,
Good vibes.
pretty good. It was
Pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Pretty
It
had a
happened.
good time.
Yeah, I had a great time. So excited for that, but also I just like so excited because we haven't been able to be with our coaches. Like so excited to get back with Blair and
Mhm.
train with Blair because he also has that, especially training with pro goalkeepers and him being a pro himself. He has that pro edge where it's like
Mm.
if I'm doing a set and it's a 2-shot set and it's like I completely mess up, which it happens. Goalkeepers mess
Yeah.
up. Like it's just how it is.
You
I mess up
human.
on the first one and I get pissed off. I'm like, oh man, I have to go to the second one. I can't sit there and pout about it.
Yeah.
And when we were running an ID camp the other week, and he goes, so like Maddie, like what happens if we're doing a 2-shot set and you miss the first one and you don't go to the second one? I go, I'll probably get yelled at. And he goes, yeah, and then kicked out of practice. And I go, yep, that's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Which
Yep.
that's how Blair rolls. Which I mean, I don't
Sure.
blame him if I mess up and I'm like, ah, dang it. Like that mental aspect of it is just so not it. Like it's not
Mhm.
going to help you. So I'm excited to get to work with him too, because he and I, especially since he got here in March, like we've had
Mhm.
specific things that we've been working on. Like, for example, all my 4 years when I go to punt the ball, I punt it. And since then, I now half volley it. He's like, I think this is better. And so within 2 or 3 months,
Wow.
he and I like learned it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so
Look at
he
that.
just,
Set it back.
yeah, he just
Wow.
he brings things to the table that like
How cool.
could be that are going to be so helpful for me, especially later on in like a pro career. So I'm just super excited. And we have 2 new goalkeepers too. So we have Maddie Mueller, who's a freshman, and then we have Sid, who just transferred from Portland State. So I'm like,
Sweet.
and I just talked to Sid about this. She's like, so when I was on my visit here, like the coaches kind of said that you're like super hard on yourself, but like have a really high standard. And she goes, I love this. She goes, so what would you do if you did something and I was like, hey Maddie, I think you could have done this or done this? I go, I'd do it. She goes,
Yeah.
really? I go, yeah. I go,
Listen.
absolutely. I was like, I'm like, I don't hold myself on a pedestal. Like, if you think I could have done something differently or better, like, tell me. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to do that. So, like, that's cool too, because I have 2 keepers behind me that are going to hold me to a high standard that I also
Love
hold
that.
to a high standard. So, it's going to be a good dynamic, and we're super excited.
Is there anything? So, I believe you're on the eve here of tour days, correct? If I remember right, August.
Tomorrow morning.
Bless.
Mhm.
I remember.
Good
I
luck.
did not. I worked with the team years ago, and I remember those days. Y'all work your butts off.
Mhm.
Twice a day. It's great. Good luck. You got it.
Thank you.
But a question I have for you is I played basketball growing up, and I know that practices, especially this time of year, in the off season probably more, it's you talking about messing up and just getting back in there. But in a way, like the off season was for messing up. Like you push yourself to the point. Is that the same way as a keeper? Are there drills that you go through and you're like, the point is to mess up so we can figure it out?
Yeah. So that's what Blair has also helped me with, is that I always have felt like if I made a save and I made the save, but it wasn't the right form, I'd be like, oh, and he's like, the ball didn't go in.
Right.
Like nothing has to be
Success.
perfect. And so one of the things that we had been working on in the spring and that we're still working on is like extending my range. And so he goes, you don't know your range until you literally are going out for a ball and you're missing it, until you're messing up. He's like, you have to mess up. Like if you're starting at the let's say 8-yard line, and the ball, you can't get there or whatever happens, you need to mess up to know, okay, 8's too far. Let's go 7.
Adjust.
So it's like I think especially for my position, but even on the field too, like you have to mess up. Like if you're not messing up, then you're not getting better. Like you have to mess up to be like, okay, shouldn't do that. Should do it this way. This isn't working. Let's try this. Like you have to. Like if everything goes smoothly, then you're probably not getting better. You're just doing what you're comfortable with, which is not going to help anyone, especially not you. So
that's what I've always, I mean, I know that's how it is for most sports, but soccer is one that I never played past, little kids. So that's cool to know that it extends there. But I always tell everybody that because they're like, yeah, I went to this practice for different sports at Texas Tech. And they're like, this person really struggled. I was like, you can't go to a practice and say that person struggled. The point is for them to struggle. Like that's probably a good thing. They're the only one that's pushing themselves to get better. And then sure enough, you get to the season and that person's like crushing it. I'm like, that's what's supposed to happen in practice.
Like, and that's literally what practices, especially like, are for. Like, you need to mess up. Like, if I'm not making a save and I think I could have saved it, I could literally be like, okay, well, I did this wrong. I should be doing this. Like, that's what your practice is for, so then you can excel and do it in the game.
Right.
100%. For sure. Love it.
Wow. When is the book going to be finished?
Yeah,
tomorrow.
With all of
right before preseason.
Tomorrow. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you. Just curious.
Sitting in the Word
Save it
document.
for after the season, so the other keepers in the conference can't steal your wisdom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
I'll let it sit there in the cloud.
Get the
Let it hang out.
whatever the cloud is.
It'll take Sibby all season to figure out where to find it anyway.
Still unsure of what exactly we mean when we say the cloud, but I don't know. So you talked about like getting to go to Utah, which is such a beautiful place. And talking about the schedule, we have Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, UCF, like all of these different teams from the Big 12 or now in the Big 12. Which one are you most excited to play? Maybe not necessarily location wise, but which one of our new friends are you most excited to play against?
So we I've played Houston here in the spring and the fall like 4 or 5 times. So one of my best friends that used to play soccer at Tech just transferred there, Alexis, and so I was like excited to play you guys, but we've already played them so many times. So I'm like, I love you, but
it just counts now in the conference.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know that I said BYU because we get to go to Utah, but like they're good.
They're
like I'm excited. Like I'm excited to play them because I'm like I know it's gonna be hard, but like that's the fun in it. Like that's why it's fun is because it's so difficult. So I'm excited to play them. Who else? We don't play West Virginia. We don't play either Kansas.
Correct.
Do y'all go?
Like,
you get to go to Florida again, like you talked about.
Sure.
UCF.
So,
yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So I say BYU. I think that's going to be a fun game.
Cool. I like it. And then on the flip side, maybe the ones that we do know, in addition to Houston, but our Texases, our TCUs, which one are you most excited that we know about?
I feel like TCU. We haven't. I don't know if this is like a stat that you guys have read. I hope not, but I'll just tell you anyways. Okay. Since I have been here in 2019, we have never beat them.
I know.
I didn't know that. I wasn't gonna throw it out there, but
never. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
And you got them at home as well.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is it, guys. We got to win this one.
Is that the game that you would? So someone asked. We put out the schedule. Y'all put out the schedule. We tweeted about it, and then someone replied to our tweet and asked, like, okay, so which games would you suggest going to? I think there's like 10 home games. So I'm like, all of them. Why not all of them? But if they can't go to all of them, would that be the one you choose, or what 2 or 3 games?
I say TCU. I'd have to look at the schedule because I honestly don't remember who is coming to us. I say TCU.
We got TCU. We got
I think
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State's late in the year, maybe.
Oklahoma State's our
Oklahoma.
senior night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It is. Yep. That's
Mhm.
at home.
I'm
Gotta be
thinking
into that.
maybe Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got a new coach. They're always super gritty and super just like, I don't want to say dirty, but they're always super physical. Like it's always, you think
Yeah.
it's not going to be a game and then it is a game. So it's like, they're always that team that's like always kind of hanging there a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So I would
Yeah.
say for the Big 12, probably OU and TCU, I would say.
Mark it down.
Put it down. You heard
Write
it.
it down.
Be there. You gotta be
Oklahoma's
there for senior night. Gotta be there
Yeah.
to get that
Mhm.
first win for Maddie in her career against TCU.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Please, hopefully.
Please.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Speaking
love
it
it.
into existence. Oh, that'd be a big win too. A little late in the year. That's like
Mhm.
positioning in the standings. We're speaking it
Mhm.
up there. Yeah, it's gonna
Mhm.
happen. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Month of October, gonna be a good time. So I have a few more questions left for you. I have one that like I've always wanted to know as a soccer fan and a tech soccer fan. When you are, and you kind of touched on it already with the story that we had earlier, but when you are setting up for a PK, a penalty kick, or from kicks from the mark, what do you do? What are you saying to yourself? What does it feel like? Is it the entire pressure of the world just like
Mhm.
sitting on your shoulders, or have you found a way to navigate that pressure? What does that feel like? What do you do?
So I think without giving you my tactic for PKs, because I don't want people to see it, obviously.
Please
to know.
don't.
But without giving you like my tactic of how I do PKs, I would say like, especially like, this is going to sound so cliche, but like visualizing yourself actually saving it. Like if I'm like, I think she's going here and I'm visualizing myself saving it. So it's like when she does go there, if she does go there, like I am saving the ball because I have visualized myself doing it, which I think is something that I do. It sounds super cliche and like people say that a lot, but it truly is like a game changer because PKs are 90% mental. Like
Yeah.
every college soccer player can place the ball where they want to. Like
Yeah.
they know I could place the ball where I want to in a PK, but the mental aspect of it is so difficult. So
yeah,
you just got to beat the mental factor of it.
Yeah, you've talked a lot about the mental game, even when we were talking earlier about like I could just worry about this 1v1 situation where they're going to score on me, and it's like a lot of manifesting, which truly works if you just say that to yourself and have that belief. It's really wild what it can do for you. So yeah, thanks for giving us that tip.
You don't have to divulge this. This might be too tactical in nature, but are you someone that uses that intimidation psychological factor?
Oh, absolutely.
Like if you're in the PKs, maybe like
So
stepping off the line a little too much, having to be
So
told to look back.
I'm a big girl. Like I'm about 6 feet tall,
Yeah.
and so I especially with my teammates, they say I'm intimidating. So what I do is I just look the person in the face and I just stare at them,
Ooh.
which
Staring
like
contest.
sounds stupid, but like especially like if you do it right, you just
Terrifying.
get that RBF on and you just stare. It messes them up. I swear.
And they
it
just
works.
like they keep looking and you're just like, why is this girl still staring at me?
Yeah, because it's like they're trying not to look at you, they're trying not to look where they're going, and then it's just like,
Oh
it's
my
very
gosh,
flustering.
Maddie.
Oh man, I
That
can't
is
wait.
awesome.
I don't want you to be in that position this year. I hope it's not. But like, I also can't wait.
Yeah,
We're gonna clip that and be like, look at our staring contest with Maddie. She wins again.
wait for it.
That's awesome. Well, we have a few like rapid fire questions to kind of wrap up our time together. And the first one being the most important, I think, from what we've talked about today. What is, in your opinion, the best place to eat in the 806? Where are you taking friends that have never been to Lubbock, and you're saying this is it? This is the spot.
So like a nice upper scale place, I'm saying Funky Door.
Ugh,
These are gonna sound like super like basic, like Funky Door, Las Brisas,
yeah.
and I don't know if you guys have been to the new place called the Fresh American.
Ooh, haven't
Ridiculous. It's over off like 114th in between
Okay.
Quaker and I guess that's Indiana, I believe.
yet. Okay.
Super good,
Too long.
super upscale. And then if I think like not an upscale place, like a quick place that like me and my roommates go all the time. Literally went yesterday. Moto Medi
Moto?
over
What?
over by the
I don't even know what
Torchies
that
that's
is.
not by campus. Canyon
Okay.
West, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like a Mediterranean Chipotle. It's the best place.
Wow.
Good to know.
Mhm.
Yeah, spending
Lubbock
time
is
on the south
so-
side.
Lubbock is so different from when I went to
Dude.
school there. That
No, like
it's-
Lubbock's food now is like ridiculously good.
It
There's
is.
so
And
many
Fun Noodle Bar. That
options.
place is good too.
Fun noodle bar. It's a
Mhm.
good choice.
Mhm.
Marking it down.
Yeah, if y'all haven't been back to Lubbock, it is wildly bigger than you could ever imagine.
Mhm.
Everything
It's-
you could possibly need
Yeah.
is in that town.
It is all
Yeah.
there.
And the
Correct.
people are nice, so I don't know why people hate
And
on
the people
it.
are nice.
What else do you need?
Yeah.
All right, I got a question. So your number is 0. Was that on purpose? Because like I don't allow goals, so I'm 0, or where did that come from?
I mean, I guess that could
I guess
work.
so.
But when I got here, the 2 keepers that were here were number 1 and number 00. So I was just like, all right. And
Just going in the middle.
so I think a lot of athletes are like very like want their number. I don't care.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I
That's fair.
genuinely don't care. You could give me 47 and will be like, okay.
Cool.
Would be a great
It
look
and
for
they're
a
like,
keeper.
do you want to change this after my freshman year? Do you want to change to number 1? And I go, well, all my stats records are on 0, so I'll just stay. But like, I don't care about the number. It
Yeah.
really does not mean anything to me, which is very different from most athletes. I feel like they have their
Yeah.
number that they like, but I don't care.
Wow.
It's
She's
just-
still gonna ball out. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Whatever.
matter to me
Yeah.
at all.
It makes for great graphics for the social team if they haven't taken advantage of that. Every time
Yeah,
you put
they
a
should.
shutout up there, just put your
Easy.
picture
0 for
next
0.
to y'all's score.
Easy.
Yep.
Love it.
Mhm. What are you listening to before a match? Do you have like a playlist, specific artist, type of music?
So our team does like team songs, which before every game we listen to the same songs. And this is so weird, but it's always in the locker room, and I always walk out because it's too loud for me. I don't like it. It's
You
too
need
loud.
to get zen.
Yeah, I walk outside and I just sit out there until they're done. So I
These
don't
kids
listen
and
to
their
anything.
loud music.
Kylie was telling us
Maybe
about
I'm old, but I can't do it. I walk out every single time. I don't listen. It's too
so
loud.
you don't partake in the one where they're screaming the cities.
Nope.
Is what Kylie was explaining.
Nope. It's too loud. I walk out.
Fair play.
It's just not my vibe.
It's
I
not
don't
my
know.
vibe.
Alright.
Like these children.
Mama Madison. She's
You have your own-
Literally.
Do you have your own
Meemaw.
headphones on, or are you just like nothing? I just need to
No,
go stay in the hallway.
Like we have our locker room,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you walk out, it's just like kind of like a space. And so I just sit out there, or I walk in the training room. I just walk around.
That's awesome.
It's too loud. I don't like it. It's
fair.
so grandma of me, but I don't care.
I like it.
Let
It
them do
works.
their thing.
It
Whatever
works. It
works.
works.
I believe we asked Kylie what we should ask you. I don't know if this was last week and it feels like a year ago, but and she just said to ask who has the biggest personality on the team.
Mm.
I believe
Oh.
because she said it was you.
She said it was me.
I believe that was the reason.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah.
I'm just a very like loud, like just
Mhm.
loud, and like, and it's also very hard for me because you know what I'm thinking, even if
Yeah.
I say nothing. If you say something that I
can't
don't
lie to
like, it's gonna
people.
be all over my face. That's how I am.
This.
That's a good thing.
But
I think
it's not a
Also,
bad thing.
too, like teams can become super cliquey. So, but I'm like always just the person. I'll just talk to who's next to me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Talk to
I
her
don't.
all.
I don't have like a group. Like I have my roommates and we're all close friends. But like, it's not like, oh, I have to go hang out with my roommates. I can't hang out with these two. Like,
Right.
I have in my locker in the locker room, I have Skylar, who is a graduated early freshman, and then I have Jamie to my left, who is a sophomore, and then I have freshmen on both sides, and I'm just like, all right.
The youths.
And people are moving their lockers after like every semester when people
Oh.
like graduate, and I'm like, I've been in the same one the whole time. I'm like, I don't care who's around me. I'll talk to anyone.
I'll talk to anyone. The team probably knows that too. They're like, we'll just put them
Oh,
next
yeah.
to Maddie. She'll make
They'll
them
be
feel
safe.
comfortable.
Yeah, she'll
What
be
is
fine.
what is that dynamic like? You said you're a fifth-year senior and you have a graduated early freshman next to you.
Yeah.
Like
She-
what
I
are
think-
those conversations like?
I can't speak for Skylar herself, but I think that Skylar has gotten, I think her sitting next to me, she's gotten much more comfortable around me. Because I think when you're a freshman, you can be easily, especially me, I feel like you can be easily intimidated by it, just because I'm, that's just how I am. That's my personality. And so I think that has made her less intimidated of me, and she can talk to me, and her and I can joke around, make like funny comments. Like every morning before practice, I'll get my banana and a spoon of peanut butter, and she's like, "Oh, banana this morning." I'm like, "Yep." So it's like, it's just
The
funny 'cause-
usual?
Yep, the usual today. I'm like, "Yep, guys." So it's just funny because it's like I can tell that she feels much less intimidated and less like, it's just more like, you're my friend type thing, which is how I want it to be. So
That's good. Yeah.
Dang.
I look
yeah.
forward to like interviewing her in the future, and she'll talk about how she got to sit next to fifth year senior Maddie White, and how she welcomed her to the team. Like that's what happened.
And if she doesn't, you got to ask her.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
She
like,
might
we
say
have
something
this
completely
on
opposite.
record.
We will come back to this.
We will come back and find it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're close to the end of our time here, so I think we'll leave it at this one last question, unless Shelby has another brain buster for you. But what is like one thing that you hope, whoever is watching this, what's one thing that you hope people know, either about you or the team? What do you think it's important for Red Raider fans to know about y'all or you?
I think just that our team, especially our team compared to other teams, we're so close. Like it's very family, and it's like everything each of us do is for the other person next to us. Like everyone's very selfless. It's always like I want to win because I want Hannah to win. I want to win because I want Olivia to win. Like it's not I want to win because I want to win. Obviously there is that. Like if you don't want to win, then there's a problem. But our team's very selfless, which is why I think that's why I love when people support us, because it's like you get to see that side of us. It's not just that we're out here going to college on a scholarship to play soccer. Like we're also people. Like we care about making connections and having relationships, whether that's with our teammates or like people like you. Like we want to have relationships. Like it's very like relationship based, and it's like we care. We want people to support us, but we also like want to get to know you. So I think that's a big thing, is that like our team, we love when people support us, and that's just something big for us, is that we love that, especially because soccer is compared to like football. Like we're not getting the same amount of money from people. We're not getting the same facilities, which is fine. They make the money, but it's like when people do support us, it means a lot, because it's like you are enjoying what we're doing. Like we love that we can make you happy and make you have a good time, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the big thing for me.
Love that. Yeah. And the atmosphere out there is the games I used to go to is always good. So I hope it's still that way. Kylie talked about it being that way last year. So if you haven't been going to games, people, you're missing out. Soccer, at least when I was in school, was like one of the only successful programs. I went to school at a tough time, and those games to go to, it was hype, and they're still successful, and now you can go and get them out there. So first game is coming up next week, an exhibition, right? With
I'm pretty sure it's next Friday at Denver.
August 11th. Yeah,
August 11th
at Denver,
and then
soon.
the first game in Lubbock, the 20th.
August 20th. Yeah.
Sounds right.
There we go. Look at that. So y'all get out there and support them. Actually, I have one more question for you to get the people hyped.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So we've talked to you. We've talked to Kylie. Do you have one or two players other people should know about that they don't? Obviously, we know the seniors and the juniors. Like anyone that you're like, this person's going to break out this year, that people are going to know their name if you want to.
I think obviously this is going to sound cliche because she's my friend and my roommate, Hannah. Obviously, Hannah Anderson.
Fair.
But
yes,
I think someone that she's a freshman this year, someone that I have like come to love and like gotten so close to, that is not only going to have a breakout year this year, but she's going to be amazing for 4 years, is Sam Courtright. I think that you should talk to her because I have a big personality, but you're going to talk to her and be like, oh my gosh, girl.
Yes.
But she has such a big heart too. And like, she just cares. And so I think she's a good one too.
All right.
Yeah, we'll bring them on. I wasn't even talking about bringing them on the podcast, but we'll definitely bring them.
Oh, I'd bring them on if I were you. They're great. I'm sure they both do. I know Hannah would.
Before the
season starts, I'll tell Sam. Sam, you got to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
Captain's orders.
Yeah.
We can get them in here. Yeah, we'll take anybody that wants to. We love getting to know you guys, just like you talked about, going back the other way and letting people get to know y'all and have something extra to cheer about when they go out to those games, and your future as a pro player. After you leave Texas Tech, we're excited to watch that too. So, appreciate you coming on. We end every interview with the classic Wreck 'em
Tech. Yeah, thank you so much,
Wreck 'em
Maddie. Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.